had a lovely weekend so far. I'm really excited to be with you again this week. We are looking at a new series on the sayings of Jesus. So both the grown-ups in the church, whether that's on the live stream, they watch it there, or go to church, and us, the kids, are looking at the 7 or so sayings that Jesus says about himself in the Bible, which is very cool. So we're going to look at a different one each week. The first one you shall find out in a little bit when I read the story. But first, thought we would play a game. So, as it's just me, our Soul 61s have all headed off to new things. I'm filming these from home, so I thought, who could help me do a game? Well, I'd like to introduce you to my husband, James, and he's going to come and do the game with us today.
Hello.
James, tell us 3 facts about yourself very quickly.
I have curly hair, I'm married to you, and my name's James.
They're very boring. One mildly interesting one.
I
Used to rollerblade.
I used to play ice hockey.
Rollerblading.
Ice hockey.
Anyway, lovely to have you on our Soul Kids video, James. So, the game you can join in with at home. It's a very simple one. We're going to race to see who can drink a glass of water the fastest. So if you need to pause the video and go and get yourself a glass of water, join in with us. I'm not very good at drinking quickly, so I'm not sure. You'll probably all beat me. So please let me know if you do beat me. And so yes, pause here if you need to go and get your water. And okay, so let's go. 3, 2, 1, then go.
Oh,
Okay, everyone. Is everyone clear on that? 3, 2, 1, go. Not 3, 2, go. Some people differ on that. Okay, so hope everybody's ready.
Let's do it.
Oh, you have to, when you finish, you have to put it on top of your head. Upside down.
Just in case you've got any left in it.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Now, did any of you actually beat us and finish the drink properly? Let us know. And
Thank you for having us coming, James. So we are going to have worship now, and then I will join you after for a little thought around the first I am saying of Jesus. So the first song is always a bit more actiony, so maybe jump up on your feet and we will worship together. And then the second one maybe you want to use as your soaking time. So just remember to just use that time to try and listen to what God might be wanting to say to you today.
In my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow rejoice and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are my light, my lighthouse, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness. I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, my lighthouse. I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness. I will follow you. My lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore.
I'm laying down my life, I'm giving up control, I'm never looking back. Oh, I surrender all, I'm living for your glory on the earth. This passion in my heart, this stirring in my soul, to see the nations bow, for all the world to know, I'm living for your glory on the earth. For the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, light a flame in my soul, for every eye to see. For the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, like a fire in me. I'm laying down my life, I'm giving up control, I'm never looking back. Oh, I surrender all, I'm living for your glory on the earth. This passion in my heart, this stirring in my soul, to see the nations bow, for all the world to know, I'm living for your glory on the earth. Oh, for the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, light a flame in my soul, For the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, like a fire in me. Come burn like a fire in us, Jesus. Oh, come, Lord. Come take your place in our hearts. For every knee to bow down, for every heart to believe, for every voice to cry out, burn like a fire in me. For every tongue to confess, you alone are the King. You are the hope of the earth. Burn like a fire in me. For every knee to bow down, for every heart to believe, for every voice to cry out, burn like a fire in me. For every tongue to confess, you alone are the King. You are the hope of the earth. For the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, light a flame in my soul, for every eye to see. For the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, like a fire in me. Oh. For the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, light a flame in my soul, for every eye to see. For the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, like a fire in me. For the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, light a flame in my soul, for every eye to see. For the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, like a fire in me.
That was lovely to worship together, guys. And yeah, as I said before we worshipped, we are looking at the I am sayings of Jesus. And these are all found in the Gospel of John. And there's Mark, Matthew, Luke and John, and we call those the four Gospels. And in John specifically, he records different things that Jesus said. And some of them were a bit weird sounding, others were quite easier to understand. But there are a number of times where Jesus says, I am something. And Jesus, what he's doing is trying to show us and like paint a little picture of who he is and what he's like. And it can be so helpful for us over the next few weeks as we look at each different one, and hopefully we can maybe paint that picture and look at each one across the weeks and learn more about who God is and what it means to follow him and how following him can change us. So the first one, to give you a little context, Jesus has just fed the 5,000, and that story you might know really well, or you might not know it at all, which is fine. Jesus feeds 5,000 people, and it's when the little boy offers up his bread and fish, and Jesus like multiplies it, and there's enough for everyone. And then after that, it says that Jesus and the disciples went across the lake, and that's the story where Jesus walks on the water. And he walks to the boat and all the disciples are in there. And then as they get to the other side of the lake, here's where we drop into the story. And the people from when Jesus had fed the 5,000 had followed Jesus to try and see more of what he's doing, because obviously that was quite a cool miracle. And they followed him and they found Jesus when they got to the lake. And they ask him a bunch of questions. They're like, you know, how did you do that? How, you know, can we see more from you? They were intrigued by what they had just seen Jesus do. And there's a conversation between the people and Jesus, And then the people say, like, you know, our ancestor had manna, which is like a type of bread. And they're talking about when the Israelites were leaving Egypt, so this was way before, when they were leaving Egypt, God from heaven provided for them with manna bread every morning, so they had enough to eat. And so they kind of were asking Jesus about that, and Jesus goes on to say this. So you will pick up maybe what he's saying. So look out for the words I am and listen out for what's next, because then you'll pick up what I am saying we're going to look at this week. So it says, Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, it's not Moses who has given you the bread from heaven, but it's my Father who gives you true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is the bread that comes down from heaven and gives life to the world." Jesus declared, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty." So there we have it. It's the I am the bread of life. And I don't know about you, but bread is not something super cool that I would love to describe myself as. You know, I don't know if I was like, Jesus, maybe you could have described yourself as something a bit cooler than a loaf of bread, but I'm sure there must be more in it. So looking into this, we see that Jesus is actually talking about bread in a much broader sense. He's basically saying that what you live off, what you eat, it like it goes away, doesn't it? Whereas Jesus is saying, I'm the bread that will never like perish, and if you come to me, you'll have life forever and full life. And later on in John, we read about how Jesus died and was resurrected, and we celebrate that at Easter, don't we? But Jesus is saying, I'll read it out to you. He says, "Very truly I tell you, the one who believes has eternal life. I am the bread of life. Your ancestors ate the manna in the wilderness, and yet they died. But here is the bread that comes down from heaven, which anyone can eat and not die. I am the living bread. Whoever eats this bread will live forever." And Jesus isn't talking about us like a piece of bread that we could go buy in Tesco. He's talking about himself. And because he's saying that he is the bread of life, he's saying that when we come to him and are with him and follow him, we get to experience life and live forever with him. And that's what we believe, isn't it? That when we follow him, we get to be forever with God. And so when Jesus is saying, I am the bread of life, it's like, that's the coolest thing in the world to describe himself as. So that's the first I am saying of Jesus. I am the bread of life. And quick summary, that just means in Jesus, and as we follow him, we get to experience the fullness of life and never go hungry, because we have life in him forever and ever and ever, and we get to be with him. So that's amazing, isn't it? And we this morning and this afternoon in Soul Kids at church will be painting slices of bread. So I don't know if you guys would like to join in if you're watching at home, and you can do that as well if you have some bread and some food colouring. So it's not with real paint, it's with food colouring. If you pop that in different pots, that's what we're going to be doing at church. So we'll be getting a paintbrush and like decorating our bread with different colours and lots of things, and it probably won't be very nice to eat. I don't know how food colouring tastes, but it will be lovely to look at and remind us, until it goes a bit off, that Jesus is the bread of life, and in him we have life forever. So I'll see you guys next week for our second I am saying of Jesus.